Hey, what's going on? Episode 2 of the Dev Diary for Galactic Maverick. This will be the penultimate episode. Next one will be the polishing and optimizations and publishing it. It's nearly there. And I've done quite a lot of work since the last one. As you can see, if you watched the last episode, this whole menu system is new. We've got some action going on in the menu system now, some animation, a couple elements of the game, the laser beam there, which is sort of supposed to represent like a tractor beam, and eventually there's a firing mechanism, but that doesn't fire until you press a button, so you'll see that now. Boop. Yeah, it shoots it away, see? Boop. Just like it does in game, blows up the title menu there just for a little effect. So I've built this upgrade menu. I decided as well to have no advertising in the game and no microtransaction. In fact, I've decided that for all the games I ever make, because the more I tried to think about ways to monetize the game, the less of a game it became, the less of a work of art it became, and the less I enjoyed working on it. So that's just the reality of games for me. Making games is genuinely a passion of mine. Obviously I need to make money from it. The way I make money from it is by making a good game, and if it is good enough and if people do appreciate my work, then it will make whatever money it makes, you know. Obviously I'll do my best with marketing and things like that, but I feel like I put my time in, my passion, I have something in my imagination that I want to bring to life and make it interactive and bring fun to people, bring enjoyment to people, maybe provoke some thoughts along the way, hopefully. And I think that I should just package that up and sell it, and you own that product, you've bought that piece of interactive artwork, and that's the deal. I don't want people to pay to play or pay to win, and I certainly don't want to build my game designed to keep you playing purely to generate ad revenue. And on top of that, I don't want to feed the advertising agencies. I don't want to give them my money. I don't want to. That's not the deal. It's not. I'm making all of this by myself. No one else has done any work towards this other than me. So even if I get a lot less money, it's mine, you know. And I don't mind sharing what I have to share with the platforms that I use to publish my games and stuff. That's fair enough, because they've built all of that infrastructure. So that, having said that, everything here is attainable. The reason the prices aren't on these icons is because I've actually already purchased them. So as you can see, they will change. If I buy this weapon now, it will disappear, the text will disappear, and the weapon will be equipped. Cool. Same here. The weapon is equipped, and it should unequip when I click it again, but it's not. So we got a problem there. Brilliant. Just found a bug. There we go. No? Interesting. Okay, so equip, unequip, but equip, and now I can't equip it again. So I can't do it twice in one. That's funny. So there's something wrong with that. Huh? It's only if I equip the dual. I'm pretty sure I made it so you could equip and unequip. Yeah, there's something wrong there. I have to look into that. I just repaired all this yesterday. I obviously overlooked something. But anyway, this is how the upgrades work. So we've got armor here. We've got player armor and the big bomb armor. We've got thruster speed for strafing left and right. Yeah. And we have the primary weapons and the secondary weapons. Pretty straightforward. Each time you click the armor, it goes up to a new level until it's at maximum, and then there's no more prices there. I think I'm going to have to do something else here to make it a little bit more explicit. Maybe put numbers on here like level 1, 2 or something. I don't know. But for now, it works. You've got your credits down here. And the way that the system works is that if you have a weapon equipped, if you've bought a weapon, should I say, other than the default weapon, which is here, then you no longer pick up weapons in the game on the fly. If you play the game without having purchased any weapons yet, you'll pick up random weapons from loot boxes that you destroy, and it will activate that weapon for a certain period, like 30 seconds, and then it will go back to your default weapon. That stops happening once you purchase an upgrade. However, if you unequip everything and just have the dual fire, which is the default, then it goes back to having weapon pickup. So you can kind of choose your play style, whether you want the challenge of not having an upgraded weapon but picking up weapons. I actually quite enjoy that mode of playing myself, more than having my weapon selected and blitzing through it. But I've tried to make the game so people can play it in as many ways as they like. I do plan on implementing a switch to change the speed of the level manually, to have an override switch in the pause menu, purely because at the moment it's set, the speed of the level is set to the weapon that you've got equipped. So if you've got a really powerful weapon, it goes really fast, which is as intended. But I thought, I've built this new casual play mode as well. For it to be truly casual play, the user has to have control over the speed of the level as well. So what if you want a really powerful weapon and you want to go really slow? What difference does it make to me? It's casual play. So I'm definitely going to implement that. That's the next big thing I need to implement. And after that's done, I can move on to sound effects. Now, the replay boss doesn't happen until you've beaten the campaign. And the level generation system has had I've also put a pause button here. I didn't have a pause button before. The level generation has been overhauled because previously the level was one long image that was 13 pixels wide and like 2,000 odd pixels in length. And it was like that because I just made the level system, and I used the color to prefab thing, and I quickly laid out the level in a long image just to get it working and fed it through to see if it would work, and it worked. But of course in Unity, that's not how images work in memory. You end up reserving a square of that dimension. So if you've got an image that's 3,000 pixels long, you're reserving 3,000 by 3,000 square in memory, which is no good. So I had to convert the system to use a 512 by 512 tile and read up the columns, and I'm going to show that to you now. This is level 1, which is the main campaign level. That's the space it takes up on a 5. This is only 512 by 512, and each column here of 13 pixels, this is the width of the level from here to here. Okay, so from this block here to this block here is the width of the level, and each color represents a different prefab. So light green is the rotating ones, red is what I call the energy ships, black is the chaos orbs, blue is the sentinels that fire weapons, pink is common loot, orange is legendary loot, dark green are the laser ships, the green laser ships, and that's all she wrote. Okay, so then the level, what it does is it reads the level generator spawner, starts at 0, 0 down here in the bottom corner, goes across. Every time it finds a pixel, it spawns the object, and it just goes across like that all the way up, and then it goes to the next column, all the way up, next column. And then when it reaches a row of, well, actually that's not the right level. Foolishness. Right here we have if I can get to it, a row of white pixels. When it hits that first pixel, it knows it's the end of the level. Okay, but what I'd have to do is predetermine the end of the level, so I calculate this at the beginning so I know where it is, so that when I'm coming up to it I can spawn the end of level trigger plate, so that when you cross it, it triggers the end of the level, right? Now, this is a generated level, much larger, much longer. This level is about on the slowest speed, which you would never be able to complete the level at the default speed with the default weapon alone. You just wouldn't be able to do it. You would die. Because and with no armor upgrades, you would just die. It's generally around 15 minutes play time solid with an upgraded weapon, decent speed, normal speed that you would be playing at to beat the whole level, right? And less than that as it gets faster. And that's what I wanted. I wanted the user to be able to have a complete experience within 10 to 15 minutes. And once you beat the level, you go on to the boss fight. But this is about 10-15 minutes gameplay, about 5 minutes at highest speed or something like that, or 4 minutes, 5 minutes. You can whiz through it with maxed out. So the casual play levels are gigantic compared to the campaign. They go on and on and on. And there has been a lot of struggle with this. At first I wasn't going to do random levels, and I still don't do random levels as such. It proved really difficult to get it to make a random level out of just pixels and picking the individual objects and placing them. It was really difficult to get a decent level out of it, and I didn't want to just throw out random garbage and make someone play it and go, well, you know, it's a random level generator. So I actually abandoned it for a while, and then I was doing this overhaul of the level generator for level 1, and in doing so, trying to pack the level into a 512 by 512, I actually decided to give the random level generator another go, and instead of doing it object by object, I created tiles. I thought, you know what, I'll get level 1, because level 1 is entirely handmade, pixel by pixel. I placed every one of these, I placed manually. Okay, this is entirely manual, and I did oh poo, what did I just do? Okay, this is entirely manual. Okay, I went through and placed every single one here by myself. So essentially these are handmade sections that I just had to split up, and so that's what I did, and I created tiles, large ones. Yeah, this is a section. Okay, tiny little tiles, yeah, little sections. So this is the level generator. We've got a little arc pass here. The number of loops per level and the number of levels to generate. A loop is one time of iterating through the entire tile set and using every tile. That's what a loop is. Okay, so we go through the tile sets, we load them up into memory, and here we have a function for weighted random choice, which we use to select the categories, yeah, that we're going to use each time, because I didn't want it to, what kept happening was it would use small, medium, large, huge, or huge. It would do that, so I had to add some random noise to the selection process. And yeah, so then we shuffle in the category here. So we're mixing it. I'm trying to make it as random as possible. It's very difficult to make things random in the computer world. Then we determine the amount of repeats. So this here, I've set the maximum amount of repeats for each tile type: small, medium, large, and huge. Huge are only ever used once in each loop. So we do that, and then we increase the height of the level by how many repeated tiles in that one block. So when we generate the level, we do all of that and add the new image, create the new image, pop it into the image. Yeah, once we've generated that level, we split and save it. Okay, so splitting and saving is just in case it goes over more than one 512 tile, we can make multiples out of one level. Okay, pretty straightforward stuff. Now I have another script here to split level, because I obviously made the initial level 1 manually and I can't get it to just generate it, so I had to I just used the split and save, the same split and save mechanism, but I put it in a separate script, so it's just for that. Yeah, I remember this. The y-axis is inverted, so you start at 512 when placing the tiles. In Unity it does it from the bottom left, and I kept spawning the level backwards, and then I figured that out. So yeah, nice and simple, and it just generates all the levels for you here, which you can't see very well in the editor, but you can see them in Photoshop, and there you are. There you have the levels, and there's the well, now that's a problem, isn't it? Okay, so there you go. Thank goodness I did this. I've just realized that I fixed the Haha, I nearly, that's so good that I just found this. You see what game development's like? So the others must be all like that then. They're all broken. They're all broken. Yep, they're all wrong. They're all backwards. You see what I just said about the inverted y-axis? So I need to now go back and fix. I fixed split level in my solo one, and look at that. The white line is there, which means that in Unity it's going to come up, and it's just going to print. It's going to print the level until here, and then it's going to print a load of blank space all the way up to this white line. It's not going to print it. It's not going to spawn this. It's just going to be a huge, about 3 minutes of nothing until the end of the level. So I need to go and fix. What a nightmare, because I've actually manually edited these generated levels. So I need to then go back into here and amend. It's that simple. See this? This should be 512, and that should be 0. That should be 0, and that should be 512. Why didn't I make the change? This is what happens when you copy code and do it somewhere else. Oh dear, oh dear. Yes. Okay, well, anyway, come back to that. I now need to regenerate those levels. So that's on the list. Brilliant. Nothing like going to make a video about your progress and discovering loads of bugs. Fantastic. For all intents and purposes, it will spawn the level. It just won't spawn it properly because it won't get to the end properly. Let me just yeah. So it will spawn the random levels, but like I say, it won't end properly. As you can see, there's bits like that annoy me, where the tiles are joined together and it doesn't look quite right. That's the stuff I have to manually go over and adjust, or I have to adjust the tiles so they have some more spacing at the top and bottom, things like that. All that's left to do with this game now is sound effects and optimization, basically. I can fix the upgrade menu bug there very quickly. It's not a problem. That'll take about 10 minutes. The level thing will take 5 seconds to fix, but it will then take probably a couple of hours of going through the images that are generated and assessing them and fixing them and stuff. So yes. So the big thing that I have done is the final cutscene, which is very, very cool. However, I will just quickly say that before I came up with this this level system, I actually was doing an image to JSON experiment where I converted the PNGs into JSON data, which came out like this, and then I generated the level from the JSON data where I just stored the color values in it and the transparencies as null. Oh my goodness, the amount of memory this thing took. Bearing in mind, these images are about 12 kilobytes, and each JSON file, each level, do I have any of the JSON? Yes. 10 megabytes. So a 20 kilobyte PNG became 10 megabyte JSON file. Whatever. I couldn't be bothered to do all that. I realized that the 512 thing was fine, and that's this is what the levels used to be like. You see the long line, just a long. Oh, they do come up all right in the editor. Okay, they actually come up better in the editor than they do in Photoshop. That's more visible. It was a long line, and then oh, they look much better in the editor. I should have started with that. Okay, so now you see the madness. What a shame that that's at the end, in the wrong spot. I didn't notice that. Okay. Anyway, let's minimize that because I'll come back to that and fix that today. these are all things I'm going to polish up today. Yes, the final cutscene was really good fun, and it's made me think I really want to make an intro scene as well. I don't want to just go into the level. That's what's missing from this game. This bit, you start the game, got like campaign. What's the campaign about? Nothing. You just start playing the game. You don't know what's going on. Crucial. The intro is crucial to get you into the story, the purpose, the reason you're there. There's nothing. So let me show you. We have, so you beat the level, and then it goes to, what am I doing? I should be in scenes. This is yes, first we have the intro to the boss. You've beaten the level. The boss is introduced. This always goes really slow in the editor. I don't know why. It plays fine when you play on the mobile. The editor hates me. The editor absolutely hates me. Okay, the boss comes in. He does his thing. He starts twirling around and doing all that. Spinning the spinners. I don't like this effect. That effect needs to change. It worked before because I was using a really strong bloom, but as I've reduced the bloom to make the graphics look better, that cannon thing looks terrible. So that has to be sorted as well. That's a graphics problem. So then you fight the boss, right? Now when you beat the boss, I'm just going to quickly go to the end game cutscene. So you beat the boss. Now this shouldn't work so slow, but maybe because when I'm recording it, that's why it's making it so slow. Let's see if it does it. I mean, this is a total spoiler, but who cares? So the boss explodes, you go on, and that's the mothership there, and you're off in the distance flying away. Kablooey. Very cool. And now you then fade out to you returning to Earth. There you are. And as you return, the party begins. Obviously there'll be some, I don't like that light isn't supposed to come on, sorry. The disco light is not supposed to come on. There we go. And I've got to sort out the separation of the credits and the thing, but you know, I enjoy doing this a lot. I enjoy doing it a very lot. So end game, what we've got here, we can swap the camera to here. Put all these on, you see? Hey. The way I've set it up in the scene is it's actually always there, as you can see. Here's the boss and the player and the big bomb. They're actually right in front of each other, but it's the camera perspective is the reason I've had to do that. But they all exist in exactly the same scene. There's the mothership over there, and the reason everything is positioned like this, looks like such a mess in the scene, doesn't it? Look at the galaxy backdrops, the pink haze. I should make this bigger actually. I've got this giant screen and I'm not using it. So yeah, and here's the Earth just spewing out gold stars. Where's this camera then? Camera Earth is there. There's the camera. Okay. And I've just got a particle system spewing out the gold stars at the end there. Sorry, all that is supposed to be, there we go. Okay, now we're talking. We've got the galaxy mist up there, yep, that's all there. And you saved text, Earth text. Boop. There you go. There it is in the scene. So that's all there when you start. However, it's not switched on, that's all. It's all turned off. And what I do is I have Mothership Blast VFX. So let me bring this over so you can see it. Sorry, I have an ultra wide screen and this OBS is set to 1920 by 1080. And I'll just move the. So what I've got here is I have an object enabler script, and I just line up the objects that I want it to enable. And here I've got a timer script. Sorry, I've got a list of objects here that in sequence, and then I've got the times when they should be enabled or disabled, or they should be enabled as an enabler. So what this script will do will simply, from the minute that the level plays, it will be counting, and after 8 seconds it'll enable that. After straight away after that one, it'll enable that, enable that, enable that. And this is how it sets up the explosions and the movements, and everything's being enabled and disabled specified times. I've timed it all and got it all done manually, and entered the times manually. Boss Blast VFX, Boss Exploder. So I've got all these handlers here. Cutscene controller here, cam switch. This is what handles the switching of the cameras, borrowed from the previous cutscene, the boss intro. Similar thing, I put the cameras in, put the times in, and it will switch between them. And then I've got a fade overlay, which is just a black image. So that's what creates the black fade to black. It's actually an image being overlaid on top and then taken away while it changes what it's doing underneath. And that's pretty it, really. Yeah, the mothership is constantly rotating, and it's all done on timers. So it's kind of like a film setup because it's all automatic. I really enjoy doing this because I've always enjoyed photography and filmmaking, and I really enjoyed making the cutscene for this. So I am definitely going to make the intro cutscene, and it's going to be very cool. It's going to take me a little while, but I don't mind spending the time on it because I love doing 3D and animation and stuff. So let's just take one more look at that after I've shown you the behind the scenes bit. See, I hate this editor. Why have you got to play like that, man? Like it really doesn't take a lot of power. I have to say this about Unity. I can't wait to finish this game to never have to use Unity ever again. I am never using this pile of steaming dog poo ever again. I hate it. My next game is going to have a custom engine. I'm writing my own engine. It's going to be a PvP mobile game that I think is pretty damn genius idea, if I say so myself. I think it'd be really good, and it might even be worthy of esports. So I want to make my own engine. It's going to be 2D, but I'm going to put serious time into the graphics and make really good pre-rendered graphics and quality effects, so that you have a really 3D looking 2D game. And so I don't want to go in and try and make a 3D game engine right off the bat. I want to start with the 2D engine first and get my feet wet in the game engine making sphere. So I'm going to make an engine for that. I want it to be super efficient, super fast, performant, and just a really good game. So like I say, Unity is horrific. I just went on a total tangent there. I just hate Unity, man. I hate it. Unreal's amazing, yeah, whatever, but I'd rather have my own engine. Unreal is so over the top, overkill. I love it. It's brilliant. It's so much fun making this. I was just getting into the sound effects last night, and I see I've got a couple more bugs to fix. I obviously still have to optimize the gameplay in terms of like level speed and the chaos orbs that explode when you hit them, that help you sort of destroy chunks of the level. I want to minimize those when you have very high armor and a strong weapon. I'm just going to replace, basically when it hits a pixel that represents a chaos orb, it should just spawn a sentinel that shoots you, because I realize that when you're playing slow, it makes sense to have the bombs but when you're going fast, it's just boom, 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 and it's not as challenging because the high-powered weapons have such range compared to the primary ones. It means you're blowing the level up way ahead of yourself, and it's not as much fun. Also, big change I made here. If you notice here, the pieces that come off the objects don't go all the way across the screen. I had the lifespan on way too long for the debris, and the whole screen when you're going fast, I'm sure I've got a previous video I can put up here when I edit this, you'll see that the whole screen is just covered in all these bits. So I made the blast a lot shorter, sharper, and it feels a lot more responsive that way and a lot tidier. There's less clutter on the screen. You know, it's a lot of it's a big balancing act. Try not to stress the player out. This is just a nice casual pace, but as you can see, when the bombs explode, that big shake, if you're going fast and it's just exploding all the time. In fact, I can demonstrate it right now, the problem, because I haven't optimized that yet. So let's say I put that on and put that on. Oh, let's put that one on because it's probably the most ridiculous. I need to reduce the speed of this as well. I think it's too fast. But like, yeah, you basically don't get to see the level. Where's the there's a bomb there. It just hits them straight away and they're gone. We'll get to a point where they start getting more. Yeah, see, now you see, you're just wiping the level out with those. So if I'm going to turn the bombs off when you get to this level. There's no point in having them. There's just no point. You still get the screen shake from the laser cannon that fires the thing, the projectile down the screen. So you don't need all this shaking. Yeah, I'm going to change that. Little tweaks. That's also why I like to go through the casual levels manually that I've generated. Even though I've generated them, I like to go through them manually and fix them up. A little bit of code. Little bit of code. As you can see, this was all from when I was doing the JSON. This can all be binned now. I think it can all be binned. Yes. So here we set the width, 13 pixel width of each column. I had to do a lot of refactoring here. We've got board speed multipliers and whatnot, because we only obviously print a row at a time, otherwise it would do the whole level in one go and that would be too much. So this again is from the JSON system, which can bugger off, just a waste of space. We've got select random casual map here. Well, we just use it. We don't have to. It doesn't have to be a massive effort to create a random number here. We could just use the bog standard out of the box random generator. And we start off. We've got the map X position, and then we've got level X, because obviously we're only spawning on the level at certain X positions. So you have to translate that, because you're going across the 512 by 512. X is going to go beyond 13, isn't it? But you need X to go to 13 and reset to 0, 13, 0, 13, 0 on each column in order to spawn them in a long row in the game. Otherwise they'll start spawning at different X positions in the game world and they'll go off the screen. So yes, we calculate the checkpoint. Oh yes, this is the other, I totally forgot. So this is the other big upgrade I put in here, is checkpoint system. I decided that because it's supposed to be casual and chill, 10-15 minutes of play and then you die like 8 minutes into it and then you've got to do the whole thing again. You've got to stop playing and leave it for another day, if that. So for the campaign level, I just add a checkpoint in the middle of the level. So what it does is it goes through the level, it finds the white pixel, it determines the end, it then determines, based on the 13 pixel width, how many columns there are, and then it goes to the middle column at the same height as the white pixel on the end, and it says that's where the checkpoint should be. So that's how I determine the checkpoint. So there we have get level details, and in get level details what we're getting is the end point and how many columns and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so we're getting the level details in terms of the actual tile of how big the level is, how many columns, where it ends, and then we determine the midpoint from that. Same goes for casual checkpoints. We'll calculate the mid checkpoint first, and then from the mid checkpoint, what we'll do is we'll calculate a point in between the middle and the beginning, and in between the middle and the end, and then we've got 3 checkpoints. Yeah, we've got each quarter. That's how I've done it, because the casual levels are so much longer, they've got more checkpoints. So now you've got checkpoints, and the checkpoints work if you retry the level, but they don't work if you exit to the main menu. It scrubs it. Yeah, and in doing this I actually broke my game. I broke my upgrade system with this, because what I did was in Game Manager, this is why I had to put load player data in Game Manager. I put in main menu, dude, can you click through to it? Thank you. I innocently put clear player checkpoint progress in main menu, so it just clears it anytime you go back to the menu. Lazy, I know. But guess what? Inside it, I had a save game. And this is why I've had to put load player data here above it, because the save game inside Game Manager, I had a copy of the player data loaded, and inside the upgrade shop I also had a copy of the player data loaded. So you'd go into upgrade, save it, go back out, and then it would then save game in Game Manager in the main menu, but what it would do was overwrite it with the player data that exists in Game Manager. So what I did was I just reinitialized it so that it loaded it from the currently saved player data. I was only doing this in Awake before. That was the problem. I wasn't reloading it after the upgrade shop. And upgrade shop is the only thing that changes the set player data before going back to the main menu. So it was safe to do this hacky little implementation. Basically, it was safe to do that. Yeah. And that cost me about an hour or so trying to figure out what the hell I did to break it. Should probably do it there as well, actually. No, update player checkpoint progress. Where is that called from? That is called in level generator. Ha! That's okay. But it shouldn't. Actually, update player checkpoint is called in level generator when you reach a checkpoint. Yes, we should do that, because if you die and upgrade your ship and then retry and then get to a checkpoint, it will trigger this to overwrite the save data before you made the upgrade when you were last in the main menu. So fixed another potential bug there, well, a bug that I hadn't discovered yet. Right, yes, so there's a checkpoint system. I need to thoroughly test the checkpoint system. I need to fix this silly little upgrade bug in the shop where, what was it again? Ah, yes, the button doesn't unequip on the same, for some reason it doesn't unequip on the same thing. Anyway, so I've got that to fix. Test the checkpoint system, and then I can do the sound effects and make the intro cutscene. I can't believe I've got to the point where I'm like, oh, that's actually, there is, all I have to do is tweaks, and yeah, that is really it. I have to balance a little bit. I've done some tweaking with the balancing so that you see these rotating enemies. I used those as a balancer, so when you get a long line of them, oh, for flip's sake, I've spawned it at the end of the blooming level. Well, now you know what happens when you beat the level. The boss comes in like that, and you go to press continue, and then you see the cutscene and whatever. Anyway, the rotators can come in a long line, and the reason being is that when you have a lot of armor and you're sort of flying through it, there's not a lot that can kill you. But these rotators are the equalizer, really, because when you have a long row of them, they obliterate the bomb behind you, and you can't quite kill them all. You have to really go fast. That's why you need the fast thrusters to go left to right to snag them all, because I wanted to make sure that you couldn't just idle. And that's what I was doing. The way I tested it was I would just idle. I'd just leave it sitting there and see how long it would take to die if I didn't even touch the controls. You know, like swarms like this. You see the boss's health going down now, but obviously because I hit a bomb, I've now collected loads of health. So there's a balancing act there. If you've got, there's different ways to play this. You could upgrade to the best weapon and go crazy but with low armor, or you could upgrade to high armor and then start upgrading your weapons. There's different routes to go depending on your play style. I just have to, what's left for me to do is go through and tweak it here and there to how much damage is done depending on your armor and things like that. Balancing act. I don't want to make the game too easy to the point where you can just leave it idle, and I don't want it to be too hard to be where it's frustrating, which is I guess what every game, well no, not every game intends that, you know. Some games are just totally unforgiving, some games are too easy, and that's by design. But it becomes easy pretty quick. Like, that's what I'm saying. I try and catch you out with the laser cannon that shoots the projectile, boom, and can incinerate you in one shot until your armor's upgraded. And the other catcher is the rotating enemies. Yeah. The damage done by the bullets is minimal, but it's deceptive. Yeah, they're little. It's very difficult balancing these things, but I think I'm getting there. It's nearly there. Up there, see, it caught me out. These things happen. Anyway, lots and lots of testing to do. I need to make these buttons look a bit nicer. This what says cosmetics. Fix this upgrade issue where I can't press the button twice in one blooming thing for some reason. I don't know why that is. And yeah, couple little things, but it's pretty much there. Very happy with it. Got to fix, yeah, so I've got to fix these casual level things. I've got to make it so that you can customize your weapons and stuff in casual level generator, because it's obviously not loaded the weapon selection. I was actually gonna fix the armor level to be high and casual, so it doesn't matter whether you've upgraded or not. That's why none of that's been sorted out yet. So little bits to do, and then the intro scene, sound effects, and it's finished. So a few fixes, some optimizations, and we're there. And then I have the grueling task of learning when I should publish this. I'm going to put it on Steam, and I'm going to put it on Google Play, and eventually on the Apple Store. I'm leaving that nightmare for another day. I will set a budget for advertising as well. I'm going to do the whole thing. It's all going to be a trial. We're going to see. I'm going to have a look at Steam when it does its sales, look at the other games, look at the banner designs, try and do some actual marketing, because I might as well. I've spent all this time making this thing. You know, it is a product. It is a fun game to play. Some people might really like it. I like it. I found myself playing it instead of developing it many a time. And I think I should put I owe it to myself and to the work to put the effort in with the marketing. I have to start making shorts, clips and things. I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube shorts, all that. I don't look forward to that stuff at all, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Otherwise, why have I done all this work? That's just part of it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm pretty sure that's everything. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the code thoroughly. I will eventually one day go through the code. But the thing is, I want to go through the code and make one of these cool animations that I've seen other coders do. When we just look at the code, it doesn't really do much. But I want to find out how they've done it so that as the game is doing its thing, it's showing you, it's lighting up the code that it's going through. I think there's a YouTuber that wrote a script of his own to do that, and he may have given access to it. I don't know, but if not, I'll have to come up with something myself or drop him a line, because it's just the best way of showing how code works I've ever seen. And I'd love to do that. It's awkward showing code, especially if people like. But just when you look at someone else's code, to me it makes sense. But obviously you have no idea what's going on, and it's easy to say, "Oh, this does that and that," but visual representation and some animations it's a whole different level. So yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. You can support me in the description below. There's ways to support me. I'm not really set up with Patreons and all those things. I don't make exclusive content for anyone. I'm making games. That's my artwork. Maybe I'll set one up just so it's there, but I can't offer anything to anyone extra. I haven't got time to do things just for exclusive content and stuff. It's not where I'm at. Too busy doing the work. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I shall keep you posted. Take care.